make them stop and stare.
Wow.
I think I better rethink my outfit for church tomorrow.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hannah.
And I'm Carolyn.
And welcome back to Close Knit with
Carolyn
and Hannah.
Hey, what episode is this, by the way?
I'm not sure.
20, I think. Isn't it?
20? I think we're episode 20 now. So as you can see, we're not in our studio. My mom does not have a mic currently, so probably can't hear her because the other person with us on the mic is my grandmother.
My mother, Carol. Say hello, Carol.
Hello, welcome to the porch on the farm.
Conversations on the porch. I think we got a new thing going here. We all let Hannah explain why she's our special guest, and what kind of our plan was and our inspiration. But yes, we are on the farm where I grew up. That's my lovely mother, and we are doing I'll let Hannah explain what we're doing. But yeah, we're on the back porch of the house. The mosquitoes have come out. So you might see me swatting mosquitoes or flies, but that's all part of being on the farm, right? So Hannah, why don't you tell? We're going to get right into this, and Hannah's going to kind of explain what we're talking about in this episode.
Yeah, so in this episode, I thought, why not talk about just generational stuff? And I feel like we each have so many different experiences as women, and I think it's so important to talk to the women in your life that are not only more experienced than maybe what yourself has gone through, but also just to get like their input on some things. So I thought, why not talk to the most amazing woman in both of our lives? Truly, we would not be here without you. So yeah, I thought maybe I could just ask some questions to kind of all of us to answer, but mostly for you to answer as well. I just feel very grateful and privileged and honored that I get to sit here and record this and do this with you guys. So
yeah, and I just want to mention, I don't know if you can hear any of the background, the crickets and the chirping, and you can hear a phone ringing far off. It must be like a outside phone or something. I don't know. We might have a wild stray animal. Hope it's not a skunk, but we don't know what's going to happen here. And I wouldn't doubt it if Father would make his presence known, or Daryl. That would be my brother and my dad. We're just winging it. So this is the first time we're on the road with this. Mother, how do you feel about doing this? Because this we kind of sprung this on her last minute. How do you feel about this?
Last minute, but I've kind of learned to be spontaneous in my life. So I guess it's not that frightening. I've been in more frightening situations, so I guess I'll be okay.
Do we want a little backstory?
Yeah. I was going to say, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself first? Just anything you'd want the people to know.
Oh, I'd love to. First of all, I grew up in town, and my dad chose to trade our beautiful home for a place in the country, out by Foley. I had grandparents in Foley. I love Foley, but I was fully prepared to go to Cathedral High School. I was going to a Catholic school, and got the news that we were going to be moving, and I didn't know what to think about it. I honestly didn't. I was kind of excited. I had a wonderful teacher who kind of guided me and gave me the story of her life, which when I said, we are moving 3 miles from the Blue Schoolhouse, and she got all excited and said, I grew up by the Blue Schoolhouse. And she says, and she gave me some medals to put into the fields and so forth. And it turned out that this was in 1952, It turned out that when we moved out there, I knew that across the road from where she grew up was this family that the daughter was to be my future mother-in-law. In other words, in 1957, when I met my husband to be, I did not know that this was going to be part of the plan, God's plan. And here we are, 52, not even thinking of anything that's going on in the country. And it turns out that we moved to Foley so I could meet my husband.
Yes. And that's kind of, there's many, many years of stories, which we'll probably have to do more podcasts because there's really good stories. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit of a backstory. And do you care about saying your age or not?
Oh, sure. I'm going to be 85.
Yeah, 85.
In October.
And she looks amazing, I might add, and doing very well. So yeah, okay. So that's a great backstory. They have had a great love story. Father passed away in 2010. Mm-hmm. It's been 14 years. But let's get started with some of the questions, because I think that this episode is going to help a lot of all ages of women, actually. Some of these questions are really good. So Hannah, you want to start?
Absolutely.
And do you want Mother to answer first, or how do you want to do
it? Yeah, let's do it like that. So I'll ask you, and then if there was a mosquito, I'll ask you first, and then if we have anything to add, we can just add that. What is one piece of advice you would give to your younger self?
Pay attention, because you think you're in charge of the plan and you're not. God is in charge. It's going to come through. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, I kind of, I thought about that as well for me. Is this what you tell your younger self? Yeah, chill out. I'd tell myself, relax a bit and try not to rush. Like, I always wanted to grow up so fast, live more in the moment. And that's easier said than done to tell, especially a teenager that. But definitely not worry so much what other people think and say. Be yourself, and don't be in such a rush to grow up, because that day comes and then you're like, I wish I was younger as you get older. So that's what I would say. How about you? Do you have anything to add to that, Hannah?
I think something that I'd tell my younger self is it's all going to work out how it's supposed to. You think it goes one way, it's probably going to go another, but it's going to be fine and it's going to work out just fine. That's probably what I would say. With what you kind of said, another question I have is, what would you say to younger women who are afraid of aging or feel like they need to accomplish everything by a certain age?
Enjoy your life, what you're going through now. Don't be afraid of the so-called steps in life, including menopause, which is
don't even get us started.
As far as I'm concerned, it's a gift. I love the stages of life. It was always good to me. It was good to me. It was a good plan. He had a good plan for us, so it worked out.
Yeah. What was the question again? I was listening to her. Afraid to age and you have time. You have time. Slow down. Don't worry about the aging thing, because always try to be your true, authentic self. And trying to, obviously, I'm going to color my hair. You can make choices to do whatever you want to do. If you want to get plastic surgery, whatever, to kind of reverse the signs of aging, that's fine. Go ahead and do all that. But always try to be who you are, remember where you came from and who you are, I think is really important. And again, to try not to be in such a rush, to try to live in the moment a little bit more, I think is important. I just got a feeling like like I'm sitting in an interview for something. like I'm in a Miss Foley interview or something, and I'm. Did you just get that feeling? Like it was really weird. It like just came over me, like we're running from something. Yeah, like the questions up on the stage, and we have to pick. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. That just came over me. I felt that. Okay, what's one of the? Or do you want to add to that? Is there anything you need?
I guess like that's just a very common feeling that I tend to have is like I just turned 25 and I feel like there's so much that I need to do in these next however many years. But at the same time, I'm like, do I need to do that? Do I need to be worried? Am I doing enough already? That's something that I'm constantly asking myself. So I really relate to that question because I feel like in your 20s, it is, I need to accomplish everything. Was that kind of the same for you when you were in your 20s?
Well, when I was in my 20s, I was having babies. Mm-hmm. That was our goal, part of our goal, to raise some children to help us with the work on the farm. And I think the 20s were probably like, I stayed home a lot. My whole goal was to be with him, and he was my joy. So that was my goal, and I was with him every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like I had accomplished, no matter how we lived, how poor we were, whatever. I always thought being poor meant that you had to be very entrepreneurish.
Mm-hmm.
You had to find a way to do things.
Absolutely.
And I really think I made it through the 20s fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had 9 children.
Mm-hmm.
9. I had 2. And that was more than enough for me. But 9, 6 boys and 3 girls.
Mm-hmm.
That's tremendous. And again, the stories that are involved in the very beginnings, the outhouse, no running water. Like we have to do another podcast on that because I feel like people have kind of forgotten about the way your generation lived, like when you were in your 20s and what it was really like. And I think a lot of people complain about, how bad it is. No, we have it really good with all this technology we have and all the amenities. And so, yeah, I think she made it. When she says she made it through the 20s, she made it through her 20s. So, okay, Hannah, do you want to ask another question?
Okay, this kind of went into something else that you said. Was there a moment when you stopped worrying about what others thought of you? And if so, how did that feel?
The older I got, the less I worried about that. I didn't worry about that. But I model after my mother, who said, never go to town unless you've got makeup on and you're dressed pretty.
Yes.
And always present yourself.
Have
and
pride.
she did.
Mm-hmm.
And she did. Always have pride, no matter where. So I guess I never worried about what people thought of me or anything like that. No, I didn't worry about it. I thought about it only because I think of my mother.
Mm-hmm. And she was a great example, and she always looked her best all the time.
Oh yeah, she
was
always
just
did.
a great looking little woman. She's very petite, and she was famous for her buns, not her buns.
She was famous for her buns.
The buns, Grandma Teff's buns. These buns that she made. I don't know if anyone's ever made them like her.
People have tried.
Yeah,
but no, they were just so special, and she'd bring them to whatever occasion. It was like,
the best.
Here she comes with her buns.
Did she bring them to all the graduation parties here? Oh,
she provided.
Were the best.
Yes,
I think they were just like all butter.
Yeah, they were all
mostly butter.
They were all butter.
You never got to have any of Grandma's buns. Oh my gosh, I think that's what she's. I mean, we joke about it, but they were amazing. Mm-hmm. She was an amazing cook, but then you were you're an amazing cook as well, and you bake really well.
I try, but I can't measure up to her. she did that from when she was very young. It was just something that she always did, and her hands showed it. I mean, she lived to be in her 90s.
Yeah.
So she was
Great woman.
great woman.
Yeah.
Great woman, great example
Yeah.
for
Very,
everyone.
very cool. I feel I have to be honest. I feel like I still kind of, which I shouldn't. I'm 57, and I feel like a time will come when I don't worry what others think of me. But I think just being in the public eye, owning a business, doing that video, obviously on a podcast, I don't really care about my flaws that much. If you don't like the way I look, don't look at me kind of thing. But yeah, I feel like women do that more to each other. Like women critique each other more than they should. Like we should be supporting each other, honest to God. So kind of, I still feel like I do a little bit. I still kind of worry. Not as much as I used to, definitely. So there's hope. Do you?
Oh God, yeah. That is probably one of the biggest things that's on my mind is what do people think of me? And it's debilitating. And I think that comes from social media.
Mm-hmm.
Social media it has such an insane impact on, I feel like, my whole generation's mental health. It's something that I think about constantly. What am I posting? What am I not posting? We had a little TikTok go viral, and that pretty much killed me because people were very openly saying things about us that was not true. Their perspective on us was very different than who we are in real life. And so that was major for me. That was a big breakdown of like, do I really want to do this? Who am I? And is this really how others perceive me? It's constant. So
It's better.
I hope so. I hope so, because it's quite a lot. Okay. What do you think is the biggest benefit of getting older that younger women may not realize?
Wisdom. Been there, done that. You settle down. You don't have to worry about certain things, although worry is definitely part of me, simply because it's things that I don't have power, that I can't do anything about anymore.
Right.
But no, there's a certain comfort. There's a certain comfort in when you get older and you feel like you've done a lot of things right, and you've got a good following, a good family, and you've had a marvelous husband. I think that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say a lot of that as well. I mean, as you're getting older, it is the wisdom. It is the wisdom. The older you get, the more you learn because of the experiences you have. You can grow from all the experiences you have, and like I can look back at young mothers that come in the store with their little kids, and just having Presley now as the grandchild. I can remember what it was like in those stages, and just the wisdom. I can't remember if I was telling a customer what the things that I worried about when I was raising you guys. Were you going to walk soon enough? And are you talking yet? And are you out of diapers yet? And do you still have a pacifier? Like that stuff is so not important. And I put so much importance on that and measured the way I was a mother. Like that was what kind of mother I was. And that's all ridiculous. So I like that I've learned about all that. And you can only learn as you get older. That's from your experiences. So
did you do that as well with your 9 kids? Did you ever have those kind of pressures of feeling like, am I a good enough mother because, they're not walking or they're using a pacifier or anything like that?
I didn't. They were so close together, and there was so much to do all the time.
no time to think about it.
There was no time to just keep them clean, and we never had to worry about them going to sleep because they all seemed to be tired enough to go to sleep. And I never had to tell them to go to sleep at night, and No, and being on the farm, we did enough work all the time that that we were just so busy all the time. We look forward to going to church on Sunday. That was a biggie.
Right.
And no, I didn't. I sometimes thought about their physical,
Yeah.
are their teeth coming in fine, and all that, because we never took them to the doctor very much or anywhere. We didn't do a whole lot of that. So that's what I'd worry about. And now when I'm older, I think about, I don't worry about it, but I think about, did I do enough for them? Did I teach them to be compassionate? Did I teach them to be caring? That whole thing.
Check. You can check all those off the list. Yes.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Did an amazing job
Thank you.
raising 9 children. And we are all really good adults. I mean, if I do say myself, me and my brothers and sisters, we're really good, and we are compassionate, and we do care about others, and we are all hard workers.
Definitely.
And we put everyone, I feel like sometimes we put a lot of people before us.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think we were raised really well. And like I said, we all turned out pretty good. Do you have anything to add?
I mean, I think I turned out pretty well. And I come from you guys, so.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Has there been a particular stage of your life where you felt the most empowered as a woman?
When have you felt most empowered?
I think now.
Really?
I think now.
Wow.
Yeah, I think now.
Everything that you've done in your life.
I think now because I feel that the people that I know and my family have respect for what we went through on the farm. And I think that it's starting to pay off, that sort of thing. But it was, I never minded going through all the stages of being a woman. I never minded that. That was just part of the plan. I always thought, oh, good, that's happening. Oh, good, that's happening. Yeah, no, it always worked, and I was blessed to have those 9 babies and to come through it. Really, really, to the surprise of my doctors, one after another, so quick. But no, I think
now, out of your whole life,
I think so.
Now
I think
is when you feel the most
I think
empowered.
so. I think sometimes it takes prayer to get through things, but I think that I have more confidence that things are going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
That was always, is it going to be okay? Is it going to be okay? Yeah. Whatever it is.
I would say, when did I feel most empowered? I would say now too. Ooh, was that a big hawk?
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. Did you see that? That was huge.
I know.
Look at that. Oh, I wish you guys could see it. Of course, I told you there were going to be hawks and all these kind of things flying around us. But I think too, I would say in my whole life, buying the store, after being married for, 31 years, 31. And then, being single, getting a divorce and having to do everything on my own and then own a business. And I think that I had to really become independent quickly. And so I would say too, for me, it's right now is when I feel the most empowered in my whole life. I mean, having kids, I felt powerful that my body could do that. I thought that was amazing. I think it's amazing that women, we were made to do that. But yeah, I would say like right now. Do you have a time?
Right now as well for me. Yeah. I just feel like when I look back in history and women's history specifically, there's never been a time that women have been more empowered than they are now, specifically where we are in the USA. And I feel very, very grateful to be alive during this time. I feel very grateful to to be growing up in this time. Because I just feel very empowered and like I have a voice and like I can say what I need to say and I can do what I want to do. Finally, I just feel very hopeful that you said right now and you said right now that hopefully that continues to go up and up and up. And I feel more empowered as I grow up.
Absolutely. And you will. It gets better. It's the ebbs and flows of life. You have the little hiccups, the ups and downs, but it does get better and better and better. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, what else you got? You're like a judge asking questions.
I feel more like an interviewer on Hollywood or something. How did societal expectations of women differ when you were younger?
So think of high school specifically, maybe.
High school.
With society. What was it? Yeah. What year was that when you were in high school? 50s?
In the 50s.
And what was it like for women? Society. What did society?
Well, we didn't have a basketball team.
Yeah.
I mean, sports was not there. That was we had to have intramural sports is what they called it, where you just only played half of the gym, half of the court. That was probably disappointment. It's kind of like we were put into categories. The girls were the cheerleaders and the flag twirlers in the band, and the boys were doing their thing. Yeah, it was more like that. You were expected to be in your category. I don't think the choices weren't there like they are now.
Right. Absolutely. And I feel like even for me in the early 80s, maybe like in ninth grade, I always tell this story about doing a report in, I can't remember which class it was for, but you had to write a report on what you wanted to be when you grew up. And I always loved, and I still love the weather. I've talked about this in the sky and the weather. And I wanted to write a report about being a meteorologist. And the teacher literally came around and looked at my paper and said, yeah, no, you need to do something more realistic. And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, like a social worker? He's like, yeah, do something like that, a social worker. That's more realistic for you. And I can't imagine that ever flying now in a high school anywhere in our country and someone telling a female, yeah, no, that you can't be that. Like now you start with little kids and you tell girls and boys, you can be whatever you want, whatever you dream, whatever you feel like you want to do. So even for me in the early 80s already, you kind of had that kind of, are you going to be a secretary? Or, and there's nothing wrong with those jobs. We need all those jobs. But I'm just saying there was a stereotype of what kind of jobs, what you could be. You're going to just have kids right away. And it's okay, again, to have kids. I'm not saying that's not okay. But I think back then the career thing was not as popular. Now I feel like a lot of women work. They have children and they work outside the home. For a lot of economic reasons, but a lot of people just want to have that career, and that's great. What about you?
Well, I think a big societal expectation for my age is constantly trying to find ways to already look younger. Mm-hmm. I'm 25, and the big thing is you need to buy a retinol. Yeah. So that you don't develop wrinkles. Like people my age are already worrying about that, which I get mad at because I already feel like that's not something you need to worry about. I think that wrinkles, what a privilege to be able to, one, be here and be alive and have, these physical things that show what you've gone through and what you've been through, that show how many times you've been able to laugh, how many times you've cried. I think taking that and turning that into you don't fit the standard or you're ugly or you're whatever, it's an undesirable trait is absolutely ridiculous. So that's kind of a big expectation put on people nowadays, is plastic surgery and skincare, and all of these beauty standards are massive. And it's fine if you want to do those things. But to me, it's like, I want to be privileged enough to age. I want to be able to experience that.
Absolutely. What a privilege, right? Every wrinkle that you have. And I feel like almost for men, I think of Robert Redford. And I talked about him before, and you're like, who's that? I'm like, look him up. Like with men, I mean, I think that the older they get, the better, like they age really well. But I feel like for women, and there's an airplane, and it's like the lowest airplane ever. It's going to touch the top of the trees. Can you hear it here? Like right over the top of the trees.
Probably going to the Popple Creek Airport.
Oh, there's a Popple Creek Airport. This is in the Popple Creek area.
Yes.
I told you things like this were going to happen here, but it's not a protected, like calm, like in our little room we normally do this. But anyway, yeah, I feel like with men who age, and some men do have, do plastic surgery too, which again, we're not knocking it if somebody wants to do that, but we're just saying I feel like it's a little bit of a stereotype, because like I look at Robert Redford and I like him with all his wrinkles. To me, it's the eyes. It's always in the eyes, and eyes are the gateway to someone's soul. So yeah, I kind of look past the wrinkles and stuff. You got another good question. By the way, can we just say how proud we are of for this age to be able, like, I was never like this at 25. Were you like that at 25? Were you that aware? See what I mean? Like aware and eloquent in the words you choose and
What I say about my granddaughters is, what is it like to be smart and beautiful?
Yeah. Right.
What is it like?
Right.
What is it like?
A mosquito right on your forehead. I'm sorry. Oh, it's all part of the farm experience. Oh, I got it. Yeah. Okay. Go back to the next question.
Next question.
I appreciate that, because I get all of that from you guys. I get all of the beauty and the brains from you guys. It just runs from generation to generation. So I think we'll do one last question. The final question I have on here is, what do you think is the biggest misconception about getting older?
It probably is the way you look.
Yeah.
It probably is the way you look. I hate to say it because people try so hard to not. It took me so long to get to this age. I always wanted to look older because I always looked a little young. But no, that's probably it. They don't want to go to pot. They don't want to lose it.
Right.
They don't want to lose it. They don't want to lose it because they're still trying to impress, someone or whatever.
Yeah, I would agree with that. With the biggest misconception of getting older, but I would say that too. That it's everybody tries so hard to stop the aging process and just accept it and be who you are. Like we're all I'm guilty of it too, I guess, in ways, but I would say that's
awesome. Well, that's all the questions. So now, Grandma, what we usually do on our podcast at the
a dance.
Oh, really?
No. No. We
stupid human tricks, Mother. What do you have?
No, so what we do at the end of our podcast is we talk about some of our favorite things that have happened recently. So do you want us to go and then you can list your favorites, or
think about it, or do you want to go first? Like, just we do favorites of the week. Maybe
favorites of the
something
week.
That was a favorite thing that happened during the week that was just made you smile or just made you happy. Mine are pretty much the same every single week.
Well, in anticipation of the cool weather coming, I made chili, and it turned out very good.
Oh, MG, I got to interrupt you for 1 minute. I said yesterday I want to make chili, and a customer came in today and said she was going to go home and make chili. And I'm like, chili has been on my mind, and I knew you were thinking about it too, because every year, the first time it gets really cold for fall, we both want to make chili.
Yeah.
And you made it.
I made the chili.
Oh,
I made a big pot of chili, and I made enough to put in the freezer. And then I thought, okay, now the chili is done. Now I can do the refrigerator pickles.
Yeah, she makes the best refrigerator pickles.
And did that too. And so I feel like I've accomplished a couple things during the week. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are good favorites. My favorites, again, Presley coming over.
Oh, yeah.
Every week it's Presley. It's something new with her every week. It's just fun to be with her and just watch her. Sometimes just watching her play. And she's in her own little world a lot of times. Mm-hmm. And just, I like I said before, it's that pure innocence, not having a clue of what's going on in the world and not caring, just caring about the toy she's playing with, the paintbrush she's using to paint. Like it's so nice and refreshing to see that. And it just brings me so much joy. How about you?
I have a few. I went to the state fair, the Minnesota State Fair, which I think it's on the list of one of the best state fairs in the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I went to that. Biggest question I got asked this year was, did I wait in line for the deep fried ranch? No, I did not. That line was an hour and 45 minutes long. Yeah. So I said no to that, but I did get the Amish donuts.
Oh, you did?
Those were really good.
Oh,
those were good.
You brought one home for me.
Oh, I heard about them. Oh, I heard about those.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Wait in line was about 30 minutes. It was really long. But because they only sell donuts at Peachy's, all you got was a donut. So it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, but those were really good. I got that. And of course I got the refillable milk at the dairy stand.
Good for you.
Yep.
Yay, dairy farmers.
Yeah.
Put in a plug for my kind.
Yes. So that was really good. I always love the chocolate milk. Yeah, I got a lot of root beer because there's a lot of root beer stands. I got a lot of German and Polish food. They've got a lot of bratwurst, pierogi. I had some pierogi. They had like a bunch of root beer stands though, so I kept getting root beer. It was really good this year. Yeah, that was fun. Miles, my brother, and his dog George, and Presley, they were kind of at our house a lot this week. And I wasn't quote unquote living with Miles, but I haven't had Miles in the house that long for years. So it was nice to just like talk to my brother about music and all that.
And let me interrupt, as I always do. They made a meal together.
Oh.
And that was so nice. I sat back on the couch. I was with Presley and watched you guys, Miles, cutting up the lettuce for the salad and you making the pasta. That was really fun. And you guys just talking about music. Mm-hmm. And that was I loved that moment. That was a good moment too.
Yeah, that was nice because I haven't felt that for a while. And I don't know, it's just like, it's just fun to just have that much time with them sometimes. So, and to have a dog in the house again. Having George in the house was a lot of fun. So
George is a golden doodle. So he likes to jump around and run a lot.
Yes, he does.
He settled down. He did settle down.
He did. He felt very comfortable there. So that was my favorites of the week.
Okay, well, we're going to do a card, Mother. This is what we do. We have these empowerment cards, and each week we draw, and whatever card is pulled, that's the message that people are meant to hear for today, for the rest of their week. So I'm going to shuffle them, and I'm going to have you pull one and then read the card. All right? You want to be the reader of the card? Okay. Let me just get them shuffled up. We always seem to pull the same one. And I shuffle. I'm shuffling. See? All right. Just pick any card and then just read what the message is for the week coming from Carol at the farm.
Make them stop and stare.
Wow.
I think I better rethink my outfit for church tomorrow. I was going to dress very conservative.
No,
but I think now
make them stop and stare.
Make them stop and stare.
Right? If they're going to stare anyway, you might as well give them something good to stare at.
And
right?
they will.
That's a good message. Empowered women. What's that one we always say? Empowered women empower women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Good
this
one.
was fun. I'm glad we just decided it was a customer actually who encouraged us and inspired us to come out here. And because we started talking about it and she's like, oh, you need to go out to the farm. You need to go out there and do this with your mother. And I appreciate at the last minute, telling you, okay, we're coming out there. Get yourself ready to go. And so, yeah.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I always enjoy the two of you, of course, and love you very much. And could say that every single day, but you might get tired of hearing.
No, we love you too. And we loved all your wisdom and insight that you have. Hopefully this, podcast, it not triggers, but it's good for people. And when they hear these kind of answers, these different generations, different stages in life for women, hopefully it helps out a lot. Thank you for doing the podcast with us. We appreciate it. And what do you always say?
First, I want to say thank you as well. I appreciate this so much. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, you can watch us on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can listen to us on Spotify.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.